Welcome to Turn the Page podcast with Alyssa and Leah, a podcast where we share our love of children's literature.
This summer, we've set a schedule to read and discuss some favorites from young readers like you.
This week, we are discussing Hello Universe by Erin Entrada Kelly. Hello Universe is a funny and poignant neighborhood story about unexpected friendships, and it was also awarded the Newbery Medal.
In one day, four lives weave together in unexpected ways. Virgil Salinas is shy and kind-hearted and feels out of place in this crazy, all-about-sports family. Valencia Somerset, who is deaf, is smart, brave, and secretly lonely, and she loves everything about nature. Kaori Tanaka is self-proclaimed psychic, whose little sister, Jin, is always following her around. And Chet Bullens wishes the weird kids would stop being so different so he can concentrate on basketball.
They aren't friends, at least not until Chet pulls a prank that traps Virgil and his pet guinea pig at the bottom of a well. This disaster leads to Kaori, Gin, and Valencia on an epic quest to find missing Virgil. Through luck, smarts, bravery, and a little help from the universe, a rescue is performed, a bully is put in his place, and friendship blooms.
All right. So what made you, Leah, because you're the one who did pick this book?
This is just, I happened upon this book when we were searching for books to read this summer. And it came up through a search. I had never heard of it before, but we were looking for books for upper elementary to read, and honestly, like, the cover caught my attention and the title, and when I read the synopsis, I was like, this sounds great, and it was.
Yes, absolutely. I guess I did not read the synopsis prior to reading this book. I just read
Really?
it since we had picked it. And I thought it was going to be more of an adventure story than it ended up being, but I actually truly loved the story that it was. But I thought it was like, I don't know, like a camping adventure story.
From the cover, it looks like that.
Yes, absolutely. So this book is on a 4.7 reading level, which obviously is perfect for upper elementary. I think it can interest someone anywhere from 3rd grade to 6th grade, even older. It interested me. So
yeah, they're just out of 6th grade, so that's the kind of sweet spot, I guess.
yes, absolutely. Okay, so let's just dive into the book. So let's start with Virgil. So I would say Virgil is, I mean, he's not the main character because they're all the main character, but to me, he was like the main character, and I guess partially because he started off the book. But let's talk about his nickname. So his family calls him Turtle. And how does Virgil feel about that nickname?
Yeah, well, Virgil doesn't love the nickname because he sees it with like a negative connotation. I do think his family is being loving, and it's not so negative to them, but he doesn't like it. And I do think, like, I can relate to this, like, when you hear someone say they're calling him Turtle because he's shy. And I guess that's a quality he doesn't like about himself. So when someone brings that up and you don't like it about yourself, that's not very fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I definitely feel like when someone like mentions a quality that you have that like you view as a negative thing, and that can be like very hurtful. And I love like at the end how he finally gets the confidence, to like tell his mom he does not like that nickname, because I feel like his mom probably had no clue that he didn't like it. And so, that's a learning moment for both of them, that he learned how to stand up for himself. But then also, I'm sure she would never want to hurt her child. So then it's great for her to like kind of stop calling him that. But you can tell he's from a loving family, especially from, oh gosh, what was her name? His grandmother's name. What did he call her?
Lola.
Well, his Lola, yeah. So you could tell,
Yeah.
like, she really loved him and, like, I think really saw him in the book. So,
Definitely. Up next, what happened at the Super Saver?
so in my opinion, the Super Saver, like, sets off the story. So, Virgil has just met with Kaori. He gets that note because she can't go do the note herself because she's too young. Um, so that is obviously where Valencia finds the note, which leads her to the psychic,
Mm-hmm.
which if you find a note like that, kids, we do not just contact random strangers. I did think, I was like, we're lucky this worked out. And Valencia was unsure of it, but also I think that's where we first see how timid Virgil truly is.
Right. Because he has the opportunity to say something and he just lets her walk by
Yeah,
and she doesn't see him. And so we also see like his bully is also there and he just hides from Chet. So everything, like, they're all under one roof, and I guess you're right, like, it does kind of kick off the chain of events that happen next.
yeah, absolutely. And I think also it's a time when we get to see Chet, who is the bully of the story, and why Chet maybe is the way Chet is, because we
With
also
his
meet
dad.
Chet's dad.
Yeah, and he has some not so nice words to say, which is
Yeah,
unfortunate.
Chet's dad is a jerk. Chet is also a
Yeah,
jerk, but
yeah,
I feel like Chet has some chance to change maybe. Chet's dad probably just going to be that way.
yeah, you're right.
So, hopefully Chet will learn from this experience. But his dad
Yeah,
is,
I hope so too. I mean, we hope that he learns, but he kind of just runs off and is like,
yeah. But
doesn't
he's been
really
raised
say.
like that. His dad
Yeah,
has like instilled these values of what's important to him, and they're definitely not things that are truly important. And also, he has like instilled this like we're better and like the otherness of people who have things that maybe can
who
be
are different.
perceived as an impairment. Yeah, or differences.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Which kind of covers our next question. What kind of person is Chet and his dad?
oh yeah. Yeah, it does. It
Yeah.
absolutely does. Yes. Yeah, they're both just not nice. The worst. All right. Virgil. Okay, so Virgil goes in the well, which I think the fact that Chet throws the backpack in the well.
I know. I was so like, because we know the guinea pigs in it.
Right. Chet doesn't though. I mean, he is still
No, he
bad.
doesn't. He thinks it's bugs, but
Yeah.
still.
Yeah, absolutely. Chet is mean. That was very mean. And okay, the fact though that Virgil goes in after the guinea pig, I'm like, that is a bold and brave
I
move.
know. That was brave, and he doesn't consider himself, he's not a very brave character. But I mean, for his little pet who he loves, he does go almost without thinking. Like,
Yeah, absolutely. He immediately, so from that point in the book, my heart broke at the beginning when he was talking about, that he goes to the resource room because he's unable to do his multiplication facts. And like that is how he perceives himself, not like, oh, I'm brave,
mhm,
I'm kind, and that was one of the things that I thought found so interesting because I think sometimes kids do put themselves in these like boxes of what they can't do rather than
mhm.
focusing on what's like so great about them. And I think this was a moment that I'm like, wow, look at Virgil. Like many people would just leave the guinea pig and he did not. So how does his experience in the well change him?
Um, Well, he definitely goes through a transformation, I think. Like, he's in there for a while. He has a lot of time to think. He thinks a lot about the stories his Lola told him. He even like imagines he's talking to one of her, characters or um and when he comes out, even though he's not like completely different, he definitely, you know, goes home and tells his parents like he doesn't want to be called Turtle anymore, kind of like owns himself. And then in the end, he does text Valencia. Like it gives him a bit of courage, I think,
Yeah.
that he went through that.
Absolutely. I think that there were some moments in there that like Virgil was not sure if he was going to make it out of the
Mm-hmm.
well. And I think like going through that experience and like really wondering, especially when Valencia closes the lid and now he's not only in this deep well where no one can hear him, but like now no one's even going to know anything's different about the well. I think like he had a chance to like reflect and have this experience of like, am I living how I want to live? And he is going to be a little
Yeah.
bit louder and take on the world a little bit more after coming out
Yeah.
of the well.
He had those regrets in the well, and I think that he doesn't want to live with those regrets after. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Love Virgil.
The next one is, how is Valencia's deafness both a challenge and an asset in the story?
So I definitely think it was a challenge from the beginning when she does not hear him because it talks about how her hearing aids only pick up like she has to be looking at someone and like sometimes she like feels that there might be a sound but she's unaware that it's a sound. It's not like picking up all the ambient noise and stuff. So obviously that does become a challenge for Valencia. And then I think it's an asset because she has like a better idea of like her other senses that other people do not, like her not being afraid to go down into that deep dark well and stuff. I think that that's the asset in the story. I mean, Valencia also, I think, even though she's lonely, is very sure of herself. Like when
Mm-hmm.
Gin is asking all those questions about the hearing aids, like she doesn't really, I mean, I guess maybe she did feel insecure on the inside, but she was like confident in like answering questions about them. And I feel like she doesn't see her deafness as like a negative thing in the same way that Virgil sees his academic maybe struggles as a very negative part of himself.
Right, right. It definitely came with its own set of challenges and challenges with friends because we saw like she remembered the time when she kind of lost some friends because they said like this is too hard to play with you. And so that's heartbreaking and um definitely challenges, in her life. And however, it makes her very special and it makes her very attuned to like nature and she's able to like go out and connect with these animals and um do her own thing. So it definitely doesn't hinder her as much as it hinders the people around her who
Absolutely. Yeah.
interact with her, which
I
is
agree.
unfortunate and heartbreaking.
And I feel like she does a good job of like advocating for herself. Sometimes it falls on deaf ears, but like when she wanted to learn sign language and her family was like, no, you don't need to do that. Like that kind of broke my heart. And I hope she gets to learn
Mhm.
sign language one day. Or like even when she was telling her friends, like, hey, you need to look at me when you talk, which I
Mhm.
know, and this kind of leads into the next question. I know several people with hearing aids, two that I work with, like, and I was unaware of that. And so that kind of to me was like, oh, a revelation of man, I guess I never thought like, oh, they also need to see my lips. And I don't know, maybe they don't,
Mhm.
but I do think that that's like really helpful if, a deaf person were to tell you that, then also as someone who is not deaf, you should be cognizant of that fact talking to someone who is.
Right, right. And I know, I mean, speaking from experience, you don't always know. And that's the challenge. You know, that's like her challenge with people. And unless she does tell them, like when she meets Kaori and Gin, she says like, this is what I need, and they're so like accommodating.
Yeah, they're like exactly what people
They
should
were
be
wonderful,
like.
huh?
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. You get to see like that different perspectives. Like when her friend gave her the book of all the deaf people, which obviously her friend did not mean in a negative way. And then it does lead her to finding some
Yeah.
a role model in the deaf community. But I feel like it also, it like hurts that like that is the only thing you see of me. Like that is
Mhm.
one piece of me and not every
Right.
piece of me. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah, but I definitely think that that, like, did shift my perception a little bit of, like, wow, I would hope that if someone needed something from me, that they would tell me, but then also maybe, just to be cognizant of that and aware if I'm with
Yeah.
someone who's wearing a
Yeah.
hearing aid, I can't just turn my back to them while I'm talking and things.
Right. Yeah.
All right, let's go on to Kaori. So, how is Kaori's view of the world different from Virgil and Valencia?
Well, she her psychic abilities, she definitely has, like, I would say, like, her own worldview that is very different from, even what I know, and, um, Virgil and Valencia, they're just kind of, I would say, like, they're looking for something,
Mhm.
you know? Uh, Obviously, we find out that Valencia is lonely, and we know Virgil is too, but, like, they're looking for that, and Calories just kind of, like, taking on the world,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, I feel
And
like
she's ready and willing.
absolutely. She's very also similar to Valencia, like, sure of herself and, like, believes in her abilities and
Mhm.
believes in herself and is able to run this successful psychic business as a child, and
Yeah.
knows a lot about, like, stars and, like, connections and things like that. And I feel like
Yeah.
that leads her to then, like, trust her instincts maybe. So, like, whether it's psychic or
Mhm.
not doesn't really matter, but, like, she is very much, like, willing to, if she has a feeling or a thought, like, go on it. Whereas,
Mhm.
like, Valencia at the beginning of the story, she had a feeling about the well, and she, like,
Right.
just like, what I mean? She went back to the things she
Yeah.
loves, nature, but she, like, felt that something was wrong, but she, like, really couldn't identify what it was.
Yeah. Yeah. They all definitely had different personalities that I could relate to, like, seeing it in our students too. Just like I could see these kids, maybe at school and interacting with each other and stuff, and they have strong personalities, but kind hearts,
Yes.
and yeah, I
Absolutely.
liked that.
All right. So obviously Virgil holds a little bit of a candle in his heart for Valencia from the beginning.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and talk about how do Virgil and Valencia, how are they like similar and different?
So they're loners, but I would say that like Valencia, not really by choice. Like she tried, and unfortunately the people around her, were just kind of like, it's too hard. You're gonna have to find other friends. And I feel like Virgil though is very much like a shy, like to himself, you know. So they're loners, but in different ways.
Yeah, I agree. I think you hit the nail on the head of like they're both loners, but for different reasons. And I think like Virgil is much more like unsure of himself and maybe like insecure is the wrong word. And I think it is. Maybe it is the right word. He's kind of insecure. Like he does not feel good about himself necessarily. I think
Mhm.
he knows he's loved by people. Like, he knows Kaori's his good friend. He knows his Lola loves him. I think he assumes his family loves him, but like they're not like that concerned with him. They're just obsessed with the
Yeah.
brothers. Whereas
And he
Valencia,
feels different.
yeah, he just is different from everyone he's with. And Valencia, I feel like knows she's
Yeah.
different, but also like is just like, I'm different, but I'm powerful and I'm strong. So she maybe sees it as
Mhm.
a little more of an asset than he does.
All right. What is the message the author is trying to get adolescents to learn?
I think like it's okay to be different and that differences give us strengths and find the people that's different meshes with your different.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say is like it's okay to be different, and are people who are going to, what did you say, mesh? Like they're
Yeah.
they're gonna be people who are going to I don't know, accept your differences.
Yeah. And sometimes there's going to be people that are not. Yeah.
Yeah, right. You
That
gotta find your people.
you're going to run into a Chet of the world and there's no
Mhm.
use trying to impress the Chets of the world. Just let
No.
them do themselves and you worry about
Mhm.
finding people that are um your people.
Gonna
I also
accept you. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, they're gonna accept you and like be okay with your differences, but not like but recognize that like even if you have some differences, everyone has differences, but even if you have some like
Mhm.
impairments or things that are not perfect about you, as we all don't do have things that are not perfect about us, that like that doesn't define you, that
Yeah.
there are so many other things.
No.
Yeah. It kind of reminded me of the other day when we were talking about my child having like a friend issue and like, teaching people that not everyone is going to be your person and that's
Mhm.
okay. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they're a Chet. Maybe they just like your personalities don't vibe. But
Right.
taking the time to find people, maybe the universe is sending you someone that is just a good friend and that will,
Yeah.
work out, but that doesn't always happen like right away. Sometimes we all feel a little bit alone.
Yeah, and trust in the universe maybe. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think it was a great story for that. It's just a different take on that like anti-bullying story, like a wonder or a restart that, you know, you'll find it.
Yeah. I thought this was a beautiful story. I really did.
Yeah. I loved all the folk tales too. I thought those are really cool and how they integrated
Right.
his culture into the person that he is. Cause I
Yeah.
think, our parents and our grandparents, they do make us into the person that we are and like the stories that we know
Yeah.
and Um, I love that, she had his grandma and Kaori are similar, his Lolo, because
Uh,
she definitely had some like premonitions, like when she said he's been like swallowed by a rock. And then later
mhm.
he falls into a well, and it's like, well, wow, she hit the nail right on the head.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about that. You're so right. Yeah.
We talked a lot about different characters, but who is your favorite
Mhm.
character?
I loved Calorie. Um, I thought she was just, like, wonderful. I don't know that I know anyone like her, but I just thought she was a great character, like, to have in a book like this who it's kind of like the magic element, I guess. You could say, like, she had, like, this other sense, and she just went with it, and she was, like, in her own little world with her little sister too. I loved that.
Yeah. I also thought it was really funny
Yeah.
though, as in tune as she was, when so Valencia gave her the fake name at first. And then
Yeah.
when she later finds out that her name is Valencia Somerset, it's not like ding ding ding, alarm bells, like this is who we were just
Right.
talking about. But I guess it
Yeah.
also shows, like for Virgil, that was like the most important thing for him. And like, you know, that isn't for everybody else. It like and
Yeah.
as a reader, since we meet Virgil and we know that he likes Valencia and that he's talking about Valencia,
Yeah.
um, yeah,
Who was your favorite character?
Phew, I don't know. I loved all of them. I mean, I really liked
I know they were.
I
They were
really
great
liked
characters.
Valencia, I think. I think Valencia is my favorite because I I loved that she had beliefs in herself. I love that she, was so kind to bless the dog. Blessed, was that his name? Sacred. Sacred was the
Mm-mm.
dog's name.
Yeah, Sacred.
I love that she was so kind to the dog. I felt like
Mhm.
her Virgil had more of like an outward, like you kind of felt bad for him. But like
Mhm.
Valencia, some of the things that she revealed, like about her parents, like I felt bad for her in those ways, but I don't know that she necessarily felt bad for herself. Like she was very resilient, and
Mhm.
I just loved her as a character. And I
Yeah.
was
I think
so
she's a
glad when
good
they
role
started.
model.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And even when she gave the phone number to Lola, I was like, "Oh, I know that they're gonna talk now after this." And so I was
Yeah.
really excited for that.
Yeah. Did you like how it ended, or did you want more?
I mean, I definitely would take a sequel. I would love to know what happens. I don't know that the sequel could be as powerful though, because it's like I don't wanna see them fight in a sequel,
Right.
and there's gotta be some kinda arc.
Right. I don't know so much of a sequel, but just like um the end of like hello.
Yeah.
I was just like, well, what are you gonna say back? Like just like a little bit more. But it was a beautiful story, and I think it was a good ending too.
Yeah, you gotta make that part up in your mind. You get to determine that.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, I agree. It
yeah,
could have a little bit more. I even thought like at the end when he finally got out the well and their parents were all like texting them like to come home, I was kind of hoping for like them to hang out right then, like, to realize.
right, yeah,
Oh, it is kind of interesting too now that they're going to begin this friendship because like Virgil has already like had a not a friendship, but like he already has thought about Valencia in his head. Like he already has this idea of like who he thinks she is. And like she hasn't noticed, like she knows
hmm
who he is from their class or whatever, but like she hasn't
hmm
really thought about Virgil that much. So it would be interesting to know like how things worked out when they started to become friends.
yeah, definitely. I do think that things will work out though. I think that they were all looking for something and they could find it in each other.
I agree. I agree. And I would be
Yeah.
excited to know about Valencia and Kaori's business too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So cute.
that is so cute, and I love it. All these, last week we read Amelia Bedelia, and then this week we're reading this. All these entrepreneur kids,
Yeah.
starting their own thing.
You're right.
Yeah. So, who is your least favorite character?
Mhm. Chet.
Yeah, Chet. Terrible, obviously. All right. So, I also thought it was so cute at the end of the story that Virgil's guinea pig was named Gulliver, and Valencia's guinea pig was named Lilliput, which was from the same story. So they already have like a lot in common. They are destined to be friends.
Yes. I was gonna say it has to be fate right there. Yeah.
Yeah, their initials, their guinea pig names. So,
Yeah.
but yes, I'm very excited to see, or I guess I'm excited to create in my own mind what happens with Valencia and Virgil, but I do think they end up being good friends.
I agree. All right. We have one comment for this book. This comment is from Reese. He says that this book has a unique perspective from a group of middle school friends, and he really enjoyed reading this book. Thank you so much, Reese.
Thank you for listening to Turn the Page podcast with Alyssa and Leah. Please take a minute to follow us and leave us a review. We would love to hear from you.
Speaking of hearing from you, we would love for you to follow us on social media. You can find us on Instagram at turnthepage_podcast or Turn the Page Podcast on Facebook. Bye, y'all.